Hi guys, welcome back. It's LSP. It's going to the 19th of April 2021. I'm going to do a quick rundown on our CHSB. Nothing much has changed really if you're looking at the daily chart. Yeah, if you're looking at the hourly chart, then a lot's changed. you know, um, you can see from the 6-ish to around about the 14th, we had this nice controlled, price behavior. It tried to run away a few times, but it's nice and controlled, nice and controlled. And then from around about the 14th onwards, it's just been this erratic sort of back and forth. And I kind of feel sorry for anybody who's got an average cost of around about 105. Because you're making money. Sorry, you're losing money, you're making money, you're losing money, you're making money, losing money, making money, losing money, and that can be a pretty horrendous, roller coaster ride, especially if you have a sizable amount of money, right, invested in CHSB. But again, if you just take a step back, just look at the daily charts, keep things into perspective. And the reason I'm picking the daily is because the weekly is not really readable. Yeah, it is, but it's not for what we're, for not for what we're trying to kind of ascertain when we're looking at these charts. I'm just going to really break it down in a really simple way. Dead simple. Consolidation, bullish run, pullback, consolidation. And that's it. Yeah. And if you just want to take it from here, we've had a nice run up. Okay. Nice sort of pullback. And then consolidation. So run up, pullback, consolidation. And it's not one of those explosive, like when you look at Bitcoin and you see this horrendous drop like this, and everybody starts to think, what's going on? And trust me, my phone blew up when this happened, and I didn't answer any of the calls because I just can't be bothered to explain that this is just Bitcoin. It happens. It is what it is. You know what I mean? We see this many times on Bitcoin. People forget that this has happened before. But because they're in it, maybe, or because they're invested in a different way, or because they've chosen to sell their house and put all of their money into Bitcoin, for example. This means something now, whereas before it just didn't mean anything. So it's important to understand that when we see erratic behavior like this, you have to take it into context, or put it into context of what's going on and what happens with what you're looking at generally. And in this case, Bitcoin, it happens, right? So it is what it is. And I'm going to do a separate video on Bitcoin and kind of go over all of these levels and just the phenomenal price action. And the way that Bitcoin has been moving, you see this really nice drop, and then look what happens. It comes all the way down. The liquidity stops here, right? So it dipped into the liquidity, and whatever's left is from this point to this point was a remaining liquidity point. It just ran straight through that, yeah? So at that point, you have this impulsive move down here where it starts. So this is in control of this move that goes up, and it went all the way down, and look where it stopped, right smack bang in the middle of this liquidity pool, reversed. And then what does price do? It goes all the way up and taps the liquidity on the sell side. Yeah, this is like, it's just, I've said this before, but you literally cannot write this stuff. Yeah, it's so precise and phenomenal when you see it playing out the way that it plays out. And obviously there's ways to capitalize on this. I'm not going to go into too much detail on Bitcoin. I'm going to get back to CHSB, but right to the sell side, as it inverses, because it just ripped straight through that, and then it taps it, and then it comes all the way down, and then it reverses, and now it's just kind of settled a little bit. Yeah, so I'll do it separately, but definitely love the way that Bitcoin was moving around. It's just phenomenal. But going back to CHSB, so we see on the daily chart we have this really nice consolidation now. It may seem a little bit crazy, but it really isn't. Below all of this, because there's no liquidity left in this area over here, or at least nothing to shout home about. The biggest liquidity pool is going to be literally down here around about sort of 55, and then the 40s. So we're going to say between 40 and 50, and we'll just average it out and say 45 cents. And we've said, or at least I've said, what's the likelihood of Swissborg coming all the way down to 45 cents? It's almost, I'm obviously not going to say impossible, but it's almost non-existent. Yeah. So we're stabilizing. Yeah. And as people quite rightly noted in the chat, and I read a few times, Swissborg held up very well when the crypto market, and I'm doing quotation marks, crashed, yeah, supposedly, and the entire world ended in that moment. You know, it is what it is. You know, these things happen. These things are expected. You know, you've always got to accept, you know, the element of risk. And I think when you look at Swissborg, the way that it's handled that, it's beautiful. You know, nice, steady. Yes, it dipped a little bit, but it's held really well above $1. And if we go down to the 4-hour chart, you know, we know where the liquidity is. I've mentioned it many, many times. In a nutshell, when price gets back above 125 and stays there, we're done. It's going to continue. Yeah, and that's effectively what we're waiting for. There are some things we can learn from this and get a little bit deeper into it, you know, which I'll do later in the week, and especially during the Smart Talk this week at, you know, on Thursday, 6:30 GMT time. But for now, I just wanted to kind of hop on, just go through, you know, this very basic analysis, and just kind of reassure people, you know, from my own personal experience and what I'm seeing with Swissborg, you know, I am very happy with the way that Swissborg's behaving. It is controlled. It's very strong in the area that it's in, you know, and it's showing that every time it goes or dips lower, yeah, it's responding very nicely there, and it's reversing very quickly, you know. So the longer it does that, the better. Now, just on the 4-hour, to give you guys something to think about before I shoot off, we had that last final drop here, okay, that takes out the liquidity below here, and we had this nice move away from that, and it's pretty sizable. Okay, if you take the low, you're talking around about 80, 86 all the way up to around about 113 or 114. That's decent. That's a nice recovery, yeah. And then back into the whole consolidation, which is a nice broad range consolidation. So we've had this secondary pop here, so it consolidated a little bit. Secondary pop, came down, filled the gap, yeah, and we're getting a nice response. So what we're going to do, we're just going to make a note here of this area, okay. We don't really want to see, if we want to see price stabilize here and start to push to the upside, we want to see this held nicely. Yeah, this is the most important level as it stands for this week. If it goes through this, you know, then we're probably going to get a little bit more of this. But if it stabilizes above this and it holds well, as it's trying to hold now, roughly around about sort of 104, 105, and then it starts to maybe grind up, takes out these equal highs up here, then I think we're going to be in good shape, you know, to continue and then take out this liquidity pool, which is absolutely going to be traded to at some point. So that's the analysis, or basic analysis, on CHSB for today, and I will catch up with you guys in the chat, obviously, and I will also catch up with you guys in the next video and the Smart Talk on Thursday this week. So if you can make it, make sure you're there. And also what I've done just before I go, I've put a link, because a lot of people have been asking me, what chat are you talking about? You know, how do I join this chat that you keep mentioning? It's the Discord chat, the Swissborg Discord chat, and you'll find me generally in the wealth and trading room or channel. And you're more than welcome to pop in there. There's actually a link in the description below. So if you just click that, it will take you straight to where you need to be. And that's it. So I hope to see you there. And with all of that said, I'm going to shoot off, finish my tea, go and relax for a little while, and then I'll check back in about a couple of hours and see where we're at with price. Take care, everybody, and I'll speak to you soon.